Hi everybody, I hope you're well, and it is June 2020, so it's time for the June 2020 vlog for Stacey's Art Studio and Gardens. So today, you grab my tea. Things have been pretty crazy out there, so I have been staying in even more so than before, and my tea has gotten bigger. And it's still Earl Grey. It's now like a jug of tea. Anyhow, so today Molly's grumbly at the birds out there. I have a bird out there, a great big bird. It's really cool. He keeps flying in and stealing something, and I thought, what has he got? Well, he's taking the dead leaves off the bottom of the hollyhocks for his nest, and I was like, wow, that's fantastic. He's cleaning up my yard for me. I've even got the birds working for me now. He's in there digging one out right now. So I'm gonna have to see if I can get video of them doing that. I'm not sure what they are. I think they're mockingbirds. Um, anyway, that's pretty cool. So Molly's not approving. So she doesn't think they should steal those leaves. So today, okay, Molly. So today I thought we could talk about, of course, art, gardens, of course, and modern day clothing and modern day kitchen living, and what I am doing to integrate some of the older ways into my life. So let's start with the art. So as you saw, I did a little bit of art this month. You saw some videos, and I'm finishing up that piece. And like I've said before, my new goal is to not be painting through the summer, but only through the winters. But I had a few pieces that had to be finished up this summer. So I'm getting really close on that one. It's a little bit hard to finish because I get very attached to my pieces. And I think most artists are the same way. We put a heart into them, so as we finish them, it's kind of like saying goodbye. And then also when we either deliver them or we sell them or even give them away, sometimes it's stressful because they're part of us, and so how they're received can be a little bit scary. Of course, everybody always loves art, so it's never a big deal, but anyhow, I'm getting close to finishing that piece. I think I have one more video that I can do with it, and then after that, it's gonna be, I gotta keep that last part private. Secret, not private, just secret, so until the owners see it. And then I'll post pictures of it once they've seen it. My studio is a wreck. It's just a wreck. I have this corner cleaned. The other side is just chaos. Been doing a couple of little odds, and my husband decided to get a new TV, and that the old TV should be my monitor in my office, and it's quite large. So it is now on that wall. So later when I get it all cleaned up, and I'll show you what it is, don't be too shocked. It's kind of big, but it's kind of nice because then I can put my art, into the computer, and then I can see it, pretty big, and it actually does help, but it's just pretty big. So I'm working on integrating it into the design there. The gardens, of course, have been an exciting month this month because just 2 days ago, we put up our last board from the big projects that we had started and wanted to finish in the back garden. So, wow. I started working on these gardens 4 years ago. The first year was really tough because it was just hauling rock and moving dirt and digging up strange fences and closing in a driveway and moving more rock, and I did it all by hand. I didn't have anyone help me, and it was really good workout. And of course that year was a very stressful year because my son was having some heart issues, and that was a scary year. So moving all those rocks was really great. outlet for me, and so it worked out fine. But that first year was pretty tough, and then the second year is when I got to start growing things, and that's when the rewards started coming in. And now here we are. We're finished with the large projects. There's lots and lots of details to be done, and more staining to be done, and small projects to be finished, and things like that. So I don't expect it to be completely completed to the point where I'm just fiddling for probably another year. But at least we have the great big things done, and I'm so happy about that. Can't wait to share it with you. I will be taking you on tours for that. Hang on a second. Another piece, a little bit of tea. And I thought I would take some like more detailed tours about the different plants, why I planted them, where I planted them, and sometimes why I've taken some of them away. How the watering issue is here in New Mexico. We have a water issue, so we are very cautious about how we use our water and when we use our water. And we had a really good rain yesterday, which is wonderful because we haven't had rain in a few weeks. And then the last few days we've had a few little bit of rain, which is nice because that's this time of year we don't get a whole lot of rain. Soon in July we start to get some monsoon rains in the afternoons, which is lovely. But if it's a good year, some years we don't get them. But so far it was nice to get a little bit of rain this week. And also how I've been able to get these things established with a certain watering pattern, and then as time goes by, reducing that watering pattern. And I'm doing quite well with that goal. We're in that process. We're down to watering twice a week, and also cutting back on how much. And everything is thriving well with that. And that has to do with all the structure that I've built. And also the hay method has made a huge difference in the watering. So I thought I'd do some tours based on that. And then next month, I think I'll talk about how the process of all the garden places came together. Probably what I'll do is not do it like a vlog. I'll go out to each place, and then I'll discuss what it started as, how it became what it is now, and then try to link the oldest video that I have of them. Sadly, I didn't start doing that early enough. I also didn't take pictures early enough, and I'm really sorry that I did that. However, from where I started, you can see a huge difference. So probably doesn't matter. It's just in my own head it matters. So there's that. And I've just noticed I say way too much. So I'm going to work on that too. Okay. Let's talk about modern day life and kitchens and how they've changed. I have been frustrated by every kitchen I've ever lived in, to be honest, because of the way they're built now. They are not built with a walk-in pantry. They used to. You know, the farmhouse style, I love that style. I have parts of that style in my house. I have trouble just sticking to one style, as you've noticed. But the farmhouse style is really beautiful. But also farmhouse function, I really miss. I remember as a child, we had farmhouse stuff, actual farmhouses. And the function of them in certain ways were superior to what homes are being built as now. Not always, but in certain ways. And there's two. Having space for mud rooms, that I really miss. We don't have that at all. And pantry space as a room instead of cabinets, I really wish we had. Don't have those. So I have to figure out how to take some of those pieces and try to adapt it into the way we live now. And so for our kitchen, what I've done in our dining room, because it's not actually a very functional dining room, it's pretty small, so it would work for maybe a 2-person table, and that would be it. But since we don't use our dining room in that way, I decided to change the purpose of that dining room. And when we first moved in, I did the coffee tea wall, as you've seen. And that has actually been very functional, and we use that every day, several times a day. I do my teas, my son comes in, does his teas, and my husband does coffee mornings and nights. So that wall is actually used several times all day long. So that's been very useful, and the storage on that wall is perfect for what we need there. And then the main part where I started with the coffee wall and thought, well, I'll keep the dining table there. It just was very awkward. I kept changing it and changing it and changing it, and it just didn't work for us. Some more tea. My allergies are pretty intense today. Anyhow, so I eventually just got rid of the table and put in a little coffee table and a small sitting area, and opened up that window a little better. Also, the heat in that room was too intense because of that direction that it's facing is the most intense heat, is that area. So then I built the little shutter type things in front of that window to filter the light, because I also didn't want to lose the light. I love light. Just didn't want the intense heat. So that cut back on the heat, so it made it a little more usable there. Then there's that lip on the countertop, and realized that it's kind of wasted space. We had the, what are those seats? Can't think of the seats that go on. Can't think of the word. Go underneath that lip. Stools. That's it. Okay, Molly. She's on high alert today. And we didn't really use those either. They were always getting in the way, being moved around. So that lip was like, it's 10 inches. So it was the perfect width for a 2x10 to build shelves across there. And at first I thought, well, I'll put all my pretty dishes, because I like to have outside of the cabinets things that are pretty, and inside the cabinets stuff we don't really want to look at. And I needed more space for storing things like that. So I thought, well, I'll just put my dishes there. But then I realized I really needed it for canning storage. And canning, I think, is pretty. So I think it would look really nice there. And so I did that. But the cans, I felt, were not super safe on that shelf. Like they could tip over too easily. So that's why I put those little slats across the front. And then I also thought for the side where there's the cabinet still, as I explained, I had wanted to take the whole thing down and just create a really tall pantry space, but life did get too complicated lately, and I decided to simplify how I was looking at things and how I was redoing things. So instead I thought, I'm going to take some 2x10s, stick them across the top, do what I'm doing with the rest of this, and also we got a little refrigerator to add to some more storage space. And then I thought, well, I'll put some shelves between that wood countertop and the bottom of those other cabinets. And I realized, no, I need to simplify that too. And I found these lovely crates and different things that would work really well as like a shelf space for everything. And boy, it's really working out quite nicely. Of course, it still needs to be finished, and that's on my project list. And I'll get there. Just everything takes time. But I've tried to take some of what a farm life function would be used in the kitchen, and it has made my functionality much better. Oh my goodness, it's really helped tremendously to have it laid out that way. And I'm looking forward to this summer doing some more canning. So I'm very comfortable with water bath canning. I've done that for years and years and years. Fruits and tomatoes. I've done that for a long, long time. But I've never done any pressure canning. But I have a wonderful friend who has a long time experience in pressure canning. She does it all the time, every year, for years and years and years. So she's given me a pressure canner, which was so nice. And she's going to, through Zoom, because she was going to come over and help me at least try it, the first couple of times so that I get comfortable with it. But we're going to do it through Zoom. And as I learn it, I will share it with you. But I thought I would start probably with water bath canning. I'll share that with you this summer. We'll do some of those things. Also, I did again. Also, I just finished a video doing my laundry detergent again. I thought maybe I could do a little clearer version. I don't know if it is. Still was a little chaotic because that's just how I am apparently. But it was time to do it again this year, so I just thought I'll do it. I might as well just do a video every year of it while you can watch me doing it. And maybe someday we can do a workshop. I mentioned that on the video. I'll put that up after this video. Maybe sometime if people are interested, we could do a workshop on Zoom. Might have that available. We'll see. And there I go again. So that's what's going on in the kitchen. And we'll continue with that. That'll be exciting over the summer. Now let's go on to modern day clothing, particularly for women. I have been very unhappy with modern day clothing, to be honest. I'm just saying from my own experience, but what I feel is lacking in modern day clothing is any kind of structure that is fitted properly to each person. And that's one of the benefits of older day clothing, is it was made specifically for each person instead of off the rack in a basic square or sort of a shape and not great quality products in the material. So over the last few years, I have actually been considering all the challenges of modern day clothing, particularly with working in the garden and on the house. And also being on YouTube. So doing videos and realizing what I was wearing has opened my eyes to trying to implement a better solution. I've gone through trying various things, baggy pants, linen pants, maxi skirts, maxi dresses, t-shirts and jeans, leggings, long tunics, work dresses. I've tried a lot of different things and I've been very unhappy with all of them. And particularly there are two different things that are going on in my work life. Three different things. My work life of painting, that I specifically have to wear certain types of clothes that I get paint all over it. That's okay, I just have to do that. But working outside, there are two different things. One is actual just gardening, and that's, digging things up, weeding, trimming, pruning, cutting, cleaning up. And then the other is building projects, staining, painting, lime washing, chinking the mortar, which I still have to do. I haven't done that yet. Cement, all that really rough work, utilitarian. And I've gone through several different types of clothing for that as well. And what I've found for that works the best for me are long jean shorts in the summer because it's incredibly hot. And then, of course, a loose, long, comfortable shirt of some sort. But I don't like them, to be honest. I work in them because they work well. I look halfway decent in them. Because that's the other thing, there's this joke about what a gardener looks like or how is recognized by their neighbors. And that's either by the top of their hat, because they're always bent over like this, or their butt because they're always bent over like this. So these are things we have to think about. We're out in the front yard, particularly. So I've learned work dresses don't work for that because they're usually around, your knee. And so bending over work doesn't work. And then maxi dresses and maxi skirts are usually made out of some polyester type material, and they're very uncomfortable. They don't breathe, and then they get caught up in my legs, and it's just hard to work in. So I've given up on those. And then leggings and long tunics, they're okay for the winter. They're terrible in the summer. It's just too hot. And so I started going, how I've done everything. I kind of look at what older days were used, what was useful then, and how can I make it work in modern day life. And again, I looked at Tasha Tudor, who she literally just took her life and went backwards and went into the 18th century and wore all those clothes exactly as they should be, and the little hat and everything. But I'm not gonna do that. But there are some things that I realized would work very well in the garden, and that is a petticoat type skirt and a loose comfortable shirt and the apron. Because here in New Mexico, a petticoat type skirt can be a problem because of the way the wind blows here, and it'll blow right up over your head. But the apron is what keeps it all in place. And it doesn't add a very heavy layer to anything, and you can get a pocket, which is very helpful. So that's what I'm doing now. And also the material that I'm trying to go with is either linen or cotton. Very lightweight, and it's very workable. It doesn't work for utilitarian stuff like staining and painting and hauling wood. That sort of thing doesn't really work for that. But for all the other work that I'm doing, this has actually been a wonderful thing to have. And so I wanted to share it because it's just amazing the difference it's made in my life. So I'm collecting lightweight cotton, linen, aprons and petticoat skirts and light shirts, t-shirts to work in, and it's really made a big difference. And that's based on how someone would dress a long time ago to work in their gardens and in their kitchens and that sort of thing. And I think that in the winter it would work just as well as long as they wear leggings underneath the skirt. But it's been a really nice thing to have, so I thought I'd share that. One other thing I thought I'd share about keeping cool in the garden because it's super hot. We hit 100 degrees yesterday, at least at my house. And so we're in the high heat. So the biggest thing is not to be out during the high heat of the day. And the other is even when you're not, it's still hot. I use these headbands all the time. You see me wearing them all the time. And what I do is I put them in cool water. I soak them in cool water. Then I put them on, and then I wear a hat on top of that. And then what that does, it's amazing, is that the band will get warm. So it's pulling the heat, out of your head. And so every once in a while I would stop and take it off, cool it off, put it back on, put the hat back on. And then sometimes I have to stop and get it watered. But that helps a whole lot, not getting overheated. And of course, drinking a lot of water, which, as you know, I failed at earlier this year and got really sick. So I've been really working on making sure I get enough water. But also, this is one of my tricks that I use. And this year, I'm also avoiding being out in the high heat. Anyhow, so there you go. That's Stacey's Art Studio and Gardens vlog for June 2020. I hope it was fun for you. I enjoyed it, and I'm enjoying my huge cup of tea. I hope that you're all taking a good deep breath, planting a plant, having some tea, reading a book, finding some joy in your life. And I'm looking forward to sharing more stuff going on here this summer, and I hope you're all well. Like I just said, here I am repeating myself, sorry. Love you from Stacey's Art Studio and Gardens. Bye.